if that's okay. You have it out of there. Let's see. We'll just keep the window open and see who else is joining, but happy to have a group here. Yuri, welcome to the Spring Salon here. It's a small follow-up of the Winter Salon we had earlier this year when we had 6 speakers.
Right.
And, you were definitely on the list of our students to hear about your practice, so very wonderful to have you on board. I think you can probably do your own introduction as best, as how I see you, and also why we really wanted to have you on board is actually because you're using sound as a tool to kind of explore human and spatial relationships. So
absolutely. Do you think it would be better to do a presentation, or generally I can talk about my mission in a way that would work better?
It's good to have, I think, a presentation or visuals. And
right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Let me. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Oh, yes. Yes, you can jump in.
Right, thank you. Okay. So some reason I cannot share sound, but I think manageable. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can share sound from me actually. Well, some slides require to have sound, but probably doesn't really work then. Let me try. Hang on. Let me try again. Yeah, should be fine. I think. Let me try that. Yeah. Okay, so quickly introduce myself. My name is Yuri Suzuki, and kind of categorizing myself, it's kind of really complicated. Sometimes called me as artist and designer and musician, so the multidisciplinary kind of practice I'm running. And fundamentally, I'm interested in sound and music. And currently, I'm a partner at kind of design firm called Pentagram as well, but basically doing my own art project and also sound design. And that's kind of a complication in my kind of practice. And then I just have to note that where I came from is I used to be an assistant for a Japanese artist called Meiwa Denki. They're really incredible artists. If you don't know, I strongly recommend you to check this artist. So they're mechanical musical instruments. Like a mechanic. So he's kind of kinetic artist, but at the same time he does performance. Also does a lot of merchandise development as well. So it's my practice basically very inspired from him because he's not only one thing. Like he's not like making only one artwork. He also like expanding as a performance. Also like doing merchandise and also doing kind of clothes line now, but it's a very, very wider way he tried to make business for that from art. I worked for him quite a long time, like 5 years before come to like England. And after that, I decided to like starting my own practice. And then it's my first practice more, I was more into the passion to the music. And especially I was into electronic music and slash kind of dance music kind of way. So that was my first career as DJ that time. And releasing a couple of records as well. So that's that's kind of what I used to produce as well. So some sound coming from there, but it's okay then. So then I studied at Royal College Bath by 2008, and at that time it's quite good like place to study. Like used to be Ronald was like leading the course, and it was very open in the line of the product. But product could be anything. Product can be art, product can be sound as well. Very wide range of things. Then after graduation, I just like continue sort of like obscure, obscure kind of a way. Like I keep continuing that, like my practice working with so many different musicians or like doing installation work. So that's how like I kind of like started as business. And a couple of times I have quoted by some people, and Philip Stark, he's talking about kind of UFO in the way, like because basically I'm not attached as product designer, and I could be artist, I could be musician as well. I think that I feel like this is quite a nice compliment. I feel like what Philip Stark said to me. And then, but fundamentally what I'm interested is kind of communication. I'm very, very interested, but because I feel like audible communication was kind of strongest method to communicating each other rather than talking with text and so on. And then, like ongoing issue for me, I have a disability as kind of dyslexic because I can't really read properly, and like I'm rather not good at communication in terms of talking as well, because it's hard to logically kind of constructing like sentences. Then I came to this project because like in the beginning, I used to play musical instruments. It's like I used to play trombone actually, and I used to be in a band, and but I couldn't read any musical score because later on I discovered I'm dyslexic, and for me it's hardest things to learning music is reading a musical score, and this is trombone, like how you play trombone, because trombone is all very physical in the way. It's not only about kind of pushing the button or anything. You physically moving your arm, and that arm to representing one specific note. And so this is standard trombone musical score, but for me it's impossible to read what sound coming from there. Then how I used to learn trombone is really about putting the number for the position of the arms, and I just have to physically remembering music. Then I was dreaming about like how I can like learning music without any music notification, and music notification accessible for the people even have a dyslexic problem that can be easy to read music. And it's end up to project called Color Chaser. So Color Chaser is inspired from like visual musical notation, like many artists tried in the past, but particularly I'm inspired from Toru Takemitsu, Japanese composer. And he tightly collaborated with Bruno Munari sometimes for like basically making sort of like a musical score without any scoring. Like it's more about color and shape representing it. And also this is like Mondrian painting. He always tried to express music from composition of the color and the shapes. And this is like a quite famous color chart, how synesthesia to reflecting that, how people can imagine sound from color. So in general, darker color, it's kind of lower pitch, and the brighter color, higher pitch sound. That's general sense. People feel that kind of sound. And the music is always has sort of like a distance between sound and sound. Also, kind of like a duration sound for each sound. So that's kind of how composing music. And then So this is like my proposal. So very simple, like this line following device, kind of following black line. So that's describing about like the length of the song. And if you interact with color, this device reading color and translate it into the sound. So basically you are drawing at the same time making music as well. And it has been very like accessible for children. Like we did so much workshop for the children. And we developed a bit more about kind of a collaboratable way, has got a lot of like color chaser in there and like running it at the same time you're drawing and collaborate together. And I'm just kind of maybe like skipping this slide and maybe like more focus on like music aspects. Like let me try. Yeah, so. And then like I'm caring about more for the sound because I'm quite interested in sound communication, how sound affect to the human's behavior. So that's something I'm interested. And then more about kind of noise is really fundamental my interest. And I'm really inspired from Matthew Herbert. He's a great musician from UK. And he created a record called Around the House. And basically he sampled, taken the sound around the kind of one room. And he actually composing like house music from that. So it's a really, really like beautiful project he has done. And I've seen some references like IBM, like, you know, the most famous computational company, and it used to have a printer, has got 1403 printer. It's very early part of the printer, has got a massive sound when it's printing it, because it's not like a small, like now we have on the printer. So once you're printing it, sounds quite like consistently making that big sound. But very talented programmer creating process for the printing process and making music for that. And also another inspiration coming from like Japan, like the specific road called Melody Road. And that specific road has got sort of texture on the road. So once you're driving car, that vibration, friction between tire and also road making kind of vibration, making sound. So basically this road cleverly calculated in the distance and making, once you drive in, we can hear like music from that. Sorry. And it's kind of reached to a project. We have got great opportunity to working with one company called III, headphone company, and creating one project called How to Make Noise Better, and very related to this topic. So I'm living in London and UK, and particularly like a city side has got full of noise, and the people doesn't really care much about how they emit sound. And then it's really, I thought it's a great opportunity as well, because how we can making that noise to something comfortable. And we created this car, has got a lot like speaker on the surface, has got a microphone top. So this is microphone can like pick up quite a wide range of sound from street. And we created program, translate analyzing frequency, and also like a noise level tying to the music as well. So This car is like running around London, and each street has got totally different music and sound. So like you can see how it looks like.
For Mashable, I'm Logan Tittle. How often do you try to drown out the noise of the city? Well, here's a commute that's all about translating that noise into something worth listening to. The Sound Taxi is a collaboration between artist Yuri Suzuki and headphone maker III. It started life as a standard London cab, but it's received quite the overhaul. Now it resembles something out of Pimp My Ride. The exterior of the Sound Taxi is covered in 67 different speakers, from little tweeters all the way up to enormous Indian horns that project their music for everyone to hear. But it's not as bad as you're thinking. Instead of adding to the cacophony of a downtown commute, a series of microphones built into the taxi record the horns, revving motors and whirring bikes around it, and translate it into a serene ambient soundscape in real time. Inside the cab, too, are speakers and headphones, so you can take in the music. It sounds like a pretty relaxing way to spend a commute. The project was a promotion by III for a new line of headphones, and sadly, it's now ended. But the cab isn't turning off the sound just yet. Suzuki wants to do a live show out of the back, where the cab itself will add to the music. For Mashable, I'm Logan Tittle.
Yeah, so like this is one line of the project, and also we're particularly talking about, because it sounds like kind of car-related sound project a bit far-fetched. However, we are very like right moment like designing sound coming from car, because all car became electronic. It's not engine car anymore. So we created sort of a proposal in a way like how we could like designing electric car sound, because this is going to be a crucial topic as well, because each company has got totally different soundscape of the definition of the car. It's going to be absolutely like a horrible way to mixture of the sound on the street, because we used to have standard format of the engines, but however, each company has got totally different identity for the sound, which would be a problem. So first of all, like kind of proposal is really have to think about specific agreement and the protocol. We have to have like all company like have to have one specific direction, and also like thinking about usage of the kind of sound, because such a great opportunity to thinking of attach to new identity to the new car. So we basically created some proposal like how we can use the AI, for example, how you can more ownable for the sound or more close to what you do for the from the car, because the car is quite neutral. If you're driving anywhere, it has exactly the same sound, but however, emotional link to the human as well, because once like you are using for like a job or work or like it's for the holiday, it's total usage different usage of the car. So we are thinking about how we can actually use AI or program to customizing sound for people. So this is just a couple of examples I can show you. So this is really about kind of how acceleration should be reflecting it, but even like engine quality is slightly different, but pitch is the same. I think that's something I have to keep about it. And also this is really about adaptive sound. and like based on the location or usage could be quite an interesting way to think about like identity of the car of the sound. So it's more adaptive and also more close to the sense as well. So that's quite an interesting way to think about it. And then this is also quite similar where like depend on the based on the time of the day, how like starting up sound or internal sound could be changed. So this is more of a situation of adaptive for like your action in the morning or also nighttime, and also how people reacting it, because nighttime is relatively more quiet. So it doesn't need so much like honking sound. So we had to put filter on it, specific like volume, but still doesn't really too aggressive, but still can notice people cars approaching it. So that kind of project like we're working as proposal, and in fact a couple car company coming in that we're consulting couple project about like how sound should be for the car. And then that's kind of a like a point like I primarily talk about it, but like I heard like 20 minutes presentation, the question session would be better, but how shall we do arrangement? I'm happy to talk more about my project.
Let's look at the students. First of all, thanks for this whole part of sharing your practice. I thought it was